Today's 21st anniversary of 9/11. Okay, you can say it's practically history. What has happened? It's like talking about World War I now. But there is something you may want to consider today, and it doesn't matter if you think that it was done by George Bush or Bin Laden. Okay, we're not talking. We're going to talk about the who and why. I'm going to talk about a different subject, and this is especially about this, which is considered by those who have investigated 9/11 to some degree, right? They consider this, especially those who believe it was an inside job. They believe this is the sore thumb, the what do you call it? The specific thing that really points that 9/11 was done by the government, and it's World Trade Center 7. Okay, the way it came down. And so a lot of people have problems with that. And here, this is what it looks like. Okay, you're going to see World Trade Center 7 on the left and a regular demolition, as they think World Trade Center 7 was, on the right. Okay, so you'll have a side-by-side comparison. I just want you to look at it. We're going to look at physics for this, okay? And here it is. Okay, the one on the left is World Trade Center 7 from different angles, and on the right, different normal demolitions. Okay, that's what you're seeing there. Okay, so a lot of people say, well, it looks like World Trade Center 7 was a demolition. And the problem was that, it takes several months to bring down a building through demolition, such as World Trade Center 7. So it couldn't have been done that same morning, couldn't have been done that same day. To bring it down like that, if it was a controlled demolition, it would have taken months to put all the explosives in place. So now what's the issue? Well, the issue is that, we have on that day, what is interesting for me, and something you may want to ponder if you want to do an investigation, a serious research on the subject, is why weren't physicists, okay, so-called physicists, mathematical physicists, why weren't they interviewed on that day and days subsequent to that? Why weren't some of these big name physicists questioned about what happened on that day? For example, imagine they would have asked Stephen Hawking. Okay, Stephen Hawking, they would have said, "Look, how did that building come down?" And he would have done maybe his experiments, his measurements, his calculations. And what if, just a what if, right? He would have come back and said, "That was a demolition. That building was demolished through explosives." And what I'm talking about here is a big name stating that. Okay, big name like Stephen Hawking was at the time. And he would have said that, it would have caused quite a bit of a stir. And if they would have interviewed some other people, here's a list of some of them, okay? Like if they would have interviewed any of these people, okay? Hawking, Cox, Carroll, Green, Susskind, Kaku, any of these folks, they would have interviewed them and said, what caused the building to come down? And any of them, or several of them, would have said that it was done by demolition. That would have been a different world. And I'm sure they would have been visited by someone saying, we encourage you to change your mind, to recant. But it would have made a big difference if a big name, several big names in mathematical physics would have said, this is what I think happened. Even if they would have said the opposite. Even if they would have said, yeah, that was brought down by debris, by fire, by whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter. But none of them were interviewed because, if they would have interviewed them, in a way, they're putting them on the spot. Okay, they're saying, look, we want you, who are an expert in physics, right, to tell us how that building came down, right? That never happened, not with any big names. Okay. Now, some people might say, well, they're not experts in demolitions. They're not experts in what happened. Maybe you got to look at, I don't know, engineers, architects, detectives. But that's wrong. A physicist, real physicist, a genuine physicist, should be able to tell you how a building like that comes down. Okay, it's got to have some good idea of how it comes down. And the funny thing again is that they didn't interview any big name people. They interviewed a lot of these nobodies that nobody knew anything about, especially people from the NIST who, I don't know if they were even physicists. So the question is, why didn't they interview some big names? And yeah, I think what would have happened if they did interview some big shot, some big name guy up there, it would have made a big difference, and that never happened, especially on Building 7, So something for you to ponder in addition to all the other stuff that you research out there.